Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Lynda, and I am here with an unfortunately large September book haul. For the last few months, I have been really working on mindful book buying. So only buying books that I really want to have, or for some reason I really feel like I'm buying them for a real reason. I'm not just going crazy. And I stuck with that. It's just that this is a big month of books for various reasons. Now, there are two books, I've mentioned them in an earlier video, two books that were not my fault. Seriously, they were not my fault, but I will get to those. So let me start. I'm going in the order that these books came into my possession. So the first one is A Prayer for Owen Meany. This has been a month-long buddy read. It started with 4 of us, and now it's just down to 2, me and Michelle. This is a big book. It's 692 pages, I think, is sort of the official count. I'm reading it on my Kobo, so whatever. And I had not planned to buy this one. I'm not saying this wasn't mindful. I had not planned to buy this because I thought, oh, I can just get this from the library. When I, late in August, I went, on Libby, and all of my libraries had copies that were not on hold or anything. September 1st, when I go to read it, everyone has a hold on it. And not just one, multiple holds. I don't know why that happened or what caused that, but I just knew I needed at that point to buy a copy. So I did. I'm still reading this. I will have it done by the end of the month. I kind of had to put it aside right now because I'm filming this on the 27th, by the way, of September, just timeline. I had to put it aside because I have another book out from the library that's also over 600 pages that's going to go away if I don't finish it. So that's my priority read right now. I have 50 pages left in this book. So, and then the next 2 are Libro audiobooks. And I had 2 credits to use. And the first one was a book called That Librarian, The Fight Against Book Banning in America by Amanda Jones. I've yet to get to this one. I had actually planned for it to be my next audiobook, and then I had an audiobook hold come in. So yeah, this is a memoir about a librarian and how she's been dealing with book banning. That sounds very interesting to me. This has really good ratings. So yeah, hopefully I will be getting to that one soon. And the second one is A Well-Trained Wife, My Escape from Christian Patriarchy by Tia Levings. I have actually finished this one. It's good. I had a little issues at the beginning and the end, but the middle, woohoo. I do recommend this for various reasons. Just there are things that are not triggers for me that I found really hard to read. So if domestic abuse or religious abuse are triggers for you, enter this one with a lot of care, because those are not really triggers for me. And I was like, ooh, this is hard. So yes, but it is worth a worthwhile read. And then I have a couple of ebooks that I got off Kobo. One is I had a bunch of credits that I had to use on Kobo. I didn't actually pay for either of these. So the first one, a lot of credits. I use those credits on a book that everyone tells me I need to read, which I do plan to read, and that's Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. I had recently read a Kate Atkinson short story collection that I loved, and I said, I need to read more from her, and I had case history, so I'm going to start with that, and everyone has said, no, you must start with Life After Life. But I didn't own Life After Life, and I haven't been able to find a used copy of it. So I just used the credits to get Life After Life. And the second one was a free book promotion, but it was from a selection of books. And I looked at it, and they were mostly romances and cozy mysteries, which weren't really my thing. But then I remembered on my year-long challenge, one of them is to read a book with a pun in the title. And let me tell you, cozy mysteries, that's where that's at. And so I found one called Cremains of the Day. So there you go. I will read that before the end of the year because I want to mark that off my challenge. The title was kind of delightful. Cozy mysteries are not my jam really, but I'll read it to cross it off, which is good because I actually have another cozy mystery coming on in this. Okay, and then I come to the 2 books that were legitimately not my fault. I am a member of Book of the Month. I've talked about this in an earlier video, but in case you missed it, I'm a member of Book of the Month, and this month, September, was my birthday month, so I got an extra add-on. So I got 2 books. And I ordered those 2 books, and the 2 books that came were not the 2 I ordered. And they are, the first one is Someone in the Attic by Andrea Mara. This looks like a domestic thriller. I didn't, these were both like picks for September. And, this didn't, I'll give it a try, not high priority, because this is, if it were, I would have chosen that, but there you go. And the second one, which might actually happen to this month, I probably should have put this on my pile of possibility videos, which is uploading right now, but I didn't. And this is Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. This is like psychological horror. Again, when I looked at my selections, these were not the choice. But anyway, when I got my box, these 2 were the books that were in it, which were not the ones I ordered. So I contacted Book of the Month and I said, what happened? And, how can we remedy this? And they were really nice. They said, we're going to send the books that you selected right away, and you can go ahead and keep these. So these 2 were legitimately not my fault. The only 2 I'm saying I'm not taking responsibility for, but there you go. Now, the 2 that I did order are, the first one is The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern by Lynda Cohen Loigman. So I've been following her since her first book, which was The Two-Family House. We've kind of followed each other on socials, and I've enjoyed her books. And so I wasn't aware that she had a new one coming out. And then when this showed up, I was like, oh, must have this. Not entirely sure what it's about. I got it for the author. She's a reliable author for me, so I will get to this when I get to it, but it will probably be sooner rather than later because I do want to read it and support her. So yes, that one looked good. And then the second one I got was one people have been talking about, The Seventh Veil of Salome by Silva Moreno-Garcia. And of course, Silva Moreno-Garcia is sort of a hot author right now. The only one of her books that I've read is Mexican Gothic, which I liked. I didn't love as much as both people. However, I think the reason why is that there is a lot that goes into Mexican folklore that I wasn't aware of. And so I didn't have that extra knowledge with that book. So I will definitely give her, I liked her writing. I'll definitely give her another try. And this is set in old like 1950s Hollywood, which is kind of a fun setting to read in. And I am looking forward to this one. And then I have, where am I? Oh, so this next one is a new release that I ordered from England, even though I could have gotten it in the US, but it was actually cheaper in England. And I would have started this the moment I got it if it weren't like September and I overcommitted myself. And that is The Examiner by Janice Hallett. Janice Hallett is a very reliable author for me, and I really enjoy her books. She does this multimedia. There's lots of text and emails. That's how she tells her stories. They're real true puzzle mysteries that I really enjoyed. And so I want to get to this one. I do not have this on my October TBR pile of possibilities, but I think I am going to put it on my high priority TBR shelf because I do really want to get to it. In fact, I will put that one there, so it goes there. And then I have, how many do I have here? I have three books, that came from what's the name of the bookstore? I've got my spreadsheet up here. Brightside Bookshop, and I believe it's in Arizona. I want to say it's like Sedona. But this was the bookstore for this month's indie press list for the currently reading patrons. And so I have 3 books that I got from there, 2 of which were actually on the IPL, and the other one was in like the best of the rest. So the first one is translated fiction, and it's Belle Greene by Alexandra LaPierre. And this is about, I guess it's Belle da Greene. So there's a book called The Personal Librarian it's co-written, and one of the authors is Marie Benedict. I'll have it down so you can see both authors. And it's about the same person. I have that up on my shelf. Haven't read it. So what should you do when you have a book on your shelf about a real person that you haven't read is you buy another book about the same person. I will say this one's a higher priority for me. This one just looks more intriguing to me than The Personal Librarian. I will read The Personal Librarian. I just want to put some space between the two so they don't, I can judge them both on their own merits. My guess is I'll read this one first, but I can't guarantee that. And the second one that I got is this one called Dinosaurs by Lydia Millet. So the reason I got this one is, if you watch my channel, you know this. I go to Arizona at least once a year to see my father who lives in Tucson. Our last visit was not what we planned. It was a spring break from hell. But on that trip, I had a book that I was reading that was set in Tucson. It was My Side of the River. Wonderful book, highly recommend it. And I really enjoyed having a book set in Tucson when I was in Tucson. I liked that. And so this is set in Tucson. Lydia Millet is a Tucson author. I've not read her before, but I've heard good things about her. I'm going to see my father after Christmas for New Year's this year. So I will be taking this book with me. I have a very specific time when I'm going to be reading it. So it will be read in December, end of December, beginning of January, when I am in Tucson. So that's why I got that one. And then this is the one that was on the extra list. It's a short story collection, The Missing Morningstar and Other Stories by Stacie, Shannon, Denetsosie. She is a Dene Navajo author, and this is her short stories, own voices. I love reading Indigenous literature. I love short stories, so of course I was going to get this. This is, I believe, set in New Mexico. Oh, nope. Well, one of the stories involves Miss Northwestern Arizona. Apparently that's a thing. She lives in Utah, which is also kind of in the Dene area. So I will be getting to this one soon, kind of when it comes up in my short story collection thing. The next book was Like the Examiner, and I will also put this one on my immediate TBR bookshelf. A book by an author that I want to read to zero, her new release, and that is When We Flew Away, a novel of Anne Frank before the diary by Alice Hoffman. So until I got this, I was a little perplexed about what it was. Like, is she just gonna retell the diary of Anne Frank? No. This is about Anne Frank and her family before they went into hiding. This is an interesting take by Alice Hoffman, because Alice Hoffman does like to dabble in magical realism, and I don't know if she does that here, and if she does, how she will do it. This is the second that I know of World War II-ish novels she's written. The first one was The World That We Knew, which was fantastic. It's one that I highly recommend by her. So it's interesting. Her last book was The Invisible Hour, where she was like Nathaniel Hawthorne fanfic, which I ate up because I like Nathaniel Hawthorne. But it's interesting. This is the second book in a row that deals with a real person. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. And that is going on my immediate TBR bookshelf. This one is also going on my immediate TBR bookshelf because I am definitely going to be reading it because it's for my book club. And that is Malas by Marcela Fuentes. I filmed my October TBR Pile of Possibilities video right before this one, so I just talked about this one, but I will talk about it again because I think this video will show up a few days afterwards. This is for my Marginalized Authors book club. Now, I had not planned to buy this. It was the same sort of thing as a Prayer for Owen Meany. I couldn't trust that my library hold would come in time. So I felt it just a safer option to buy this book. It's a beautiful cover. I'm hoping that I love it and I want to keep it on my keeper shelf. If not, I will, release it into the wild, but it is a lovely cover. And I needed to make sure that I had my book for that book club. We'll put that one on the immediate TBR because that one is definitely getting read. Okay, and then this one, Bookish Downtime. Like, this is a book that's been kind of like, I want to read this. I want to read kind of like over here. And the Bookish Downtime talked about it in her video. And I was like, I need to read that. This is another short story collection. And it is The Paper Menagerie and Other Stories by Ken Liu. I have heard the title story. LeVar Burton did it on his podcast. And it freaking wrecked me. And I was like, I need to read this whole collection. He is, I believe, a science fiction author. And that's not my preferred genre. I don't know if this is really science fiction, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it's like. But I have found that if I am going into a genre that's not really my preferred genre, which really at this point is science fiction and fantasy, I will read them. That just is not the genres that I'm most comfortable in. Short stories and novellas have been a great way for me to get into those. So definitely, this is going on my
with this one into my short story collection pile, and when it comes up, I will read it. But yeah, I do know that the title story in this is one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking short stories I've ever encountered. So, okay, where are we now? Okay, so then I had this situation where I have one of those Audible memberships where you get 12 credits at once and then you have a year to use them. And I got a notification from Audible saying you better use these because it's about to roll over and you're going to lose these credits. So I went and I got the 3 audiobooks that I had on my holds list from libraries. I just got those off Audible because I needed to use those credits. And then I got some other ones that are books that I've already read, but I want the Audible version, but so they don't count on this. But the first one is a book that I was like, I am still iffy about because I'm not sure I want this book. And that is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. And why I say I'm not sure about this is, to me, The House in the Cerulean Sea is a perfect novel. Like, it's a 5-star book for me. I loved that book. And I'm like, do we need a sequel to it? And I've heard this book is fantastic. Some people have said it's even better. So I got it. I'm nervous. I'm nervous because what if it isn't? Then not only is that not as good a book as I expected, but it's also kind of going to dim The House of the Cerulean Sea a bit for me. So I'm nervous about it. I did choose to get it on audio because I heard Bookish Best Friend has told me several times that The House of the Cerulean Sea is an excellent audiobook. I have it in print. So I figure if that was good in audio, this should be good in audio. So forget it. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to it. I'm nervous. I am nervous about this one. The second one is, the next 2 are both nonfiction, which do work really well in audio for me. One is Strong Female Character by Fern Brady. And what I understand is about this is an actress who is also on the autism spectrum. I thought that was a really kind of interesting kind of combination, and I'm interested to hear her story. So there you go. Not super high priority for me just because of what I have on audio and the other books that are high priority, but I am interested in listening to it. And then I have one that probably is a little more high priority just because it feels a little more timely. And this is a book I heard about from Heidi at My Reading Life. And this is The Quiet Damage, QAnon and the Destruction of the American Family by Jessalyn Cook. So my mother was someone who it wasn't QAnon, thank God. Although I think that's just because she didn't have access to that. But she's one of those people who got sucked into Fox News, and it, changed her personality, and it really changed her reality. She was also dealing with dementia, and I think those two are a really bad combination. But I feel like I have a little bit of a personal connection to that because of this. So I am interested in reading this. My mother is no longer with us, and my father is at least somewhat saner. So I've got him to turn off Fox News. So he still watches Fox Business, but Fox News, I've gotten him to not watch anymore. So there you go. I am, and he's not really one to kind of, he is, well, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. This was really an issue with my mother, but I do want to read this to kind of, see. And the final 2 books are books that I got from my subscription, my book club magic subscription. And this is where they send me used books. I give them my favorite genre. I actually cheated and gave them to mystery and historical fiction. So each month they send me off of their shelves. They're a used bookstore. It's J'aime le livre in McAllen, Texas. And this is Andrea at Books and Bocadillos. This is her friend's store. So that's how I found out about it. They send me just 2 books off their shelves to see what they are. So the first one is Under a Sardinian Sky by Sarah Alexander. So this is about a woman who goes to Sardinia in 1952. So it's her family, Sardinia, I don't know, but it's one of those books. You can kind of tell from the cover. It's historical fiction, centered on a woman and her experience. That sounds interesting to me. I don't think I've ever read a book set in Sardinia. My only kind of secondhand experience with Sardinia is Anthony Bourdain. When he had his TV show, his wife was from Sardinia, and he did an episode where he went to Sardinia there. So that's the only thing I really know about Sardinia. So I'm interested in reading that. I've been reading recently a lot of books in Sicily, which isn't that far from Sardinia. So there you go. And then the final book is my other cozy mystery and they sent this to me, and this is The Diva Cooks Up a Storm. Very, this is your cozy mystery. Again, not my favorite, but I will give it a try. What kind of does give me pause is this is like number 11 in the series, but from what I understand, you can kind of just pick these up. So we'll see how it goes. If I like it, I might go back to number 1, but honestly, I think this is just kind of like a palate cleanser little book. Lower priority than Cremains of the Day, because this doesn't really have a pun in it, and Cremains of the Day does. And that's really why I'm reading a cozy mystery. So there you go. So yeah, that is 21 books, 19 of which were my fault. 2 of them were not. But yeah, so that is far more books than I like to bring in a month. In fact, I am doing this. I had not planned to do my book haul this early. I think it's the 27th. I plan to wait because I believe on the 30th, I think, is when my library book sale starts. And, and I've just basically decided I'm not going to my library book sale this year. It's too much of a temptation, and I need to really, I need to go back. And yes, I'm not saying these were non-mindful purchases, but I do need to we need to step back and kind of get this a little bit under control for October. I do have some pre-orders that are coming in October. I should tell you what they are really quickly. Go here. So, oops. Okay. So the first, those 2 have already come in. Well, I had one that actually it's not a book like this, so it doesn't count, but that one actually came in early. I have 5. The first one is The Mighty Red by Louise Erdrich. So that's been pre-ordered from Birchbark Books. So that'll come to me. And then I have an Ellie Griffiths short story collection called The Man in Black. There is at least a couple Ruth Galloway stories in there. So I loved the Ruth Galloway series. So I'm interested in that. And then of course I have my Best American Short Stories, edited by Lauren Groff, 2024. And Best American Mystery and Suspense 2024, edited by S.A. Cosby. I pre-order those every year, starting last year. So this was the second year, but hey, every year. So I have those coming in. And then on the 29th, clear off my reading schedule because that is Louise Penny Day. So at 9 p.m. on the 28th, I will start reading The Grey Wolf, which is the 19th Armand Gamache book. It's the only series that Armand Gamache and Cork O'Connor are the 2 series that I will clear my schedule off and read those books as soon as they come in. I get them digitally so that I have them right as they come. The Cork O'Connor series, I just keep that one digitally. But what I will do is when The Grey Wolf comes out in paperback, because I have all the other books in paperback, that's when I will purchase a print copy. But I want to read it the moment I can. So that one's pre-ordered. So those are my pre-orders that are coming in October. But yeah, so that's why I'm not doing the library book sale this year. This time I'm trying to pull back and try to get this back under control. So anyway, thank you for hanging in with me. It was a bigger month than I had hoped, but that happens sometimes. Not all of these books are going onto my TBR count. A Well-Trained Wife has already been read, and A Prayer for Owen Meany will have been read by the end of the month. So those 2. So I'll have 19 books going on my TBR from the 21. But anyway, I'm babbling. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.